Hello and welcome to Tiny Table Talk for The Challenge All-Stars Season 2, and in this video we're going to go over some early standouts. We're also going to do a trailer breakdown for the trailer that was at the end of this past week's episode, the what's to come this season on the challenge trailer, also getting to some comments from my Thursday's review and recap. So let's not waste any time getting to the first topic. This first episode of the Challenge All-Stars Season 2 was pretty chill. It was relaxed. They were really wanting us to get reacquainted with the challengers that were back on this season, and I thought it was a really fun, chill episode. And there's 4 players in my mind. I picked out 2 men and 2 women that kind of like were early standouts to me, whether it was in the confessionals, whether it was how they performed in the daily challenge, alliance talk, and all that good stuff. So the 4 players that I want to talk about, we're going to start off with the women's side, and the first player I have to mention is Tina. Tina is coming back after not being seen since being a mercenary in Cutthroat. And I was kind of like wondering, will Tina still be Tina, or has she matured, or has she changed a whole lot? Come to find out, she hasn't really changed all that much. Tina is still Tina, and she is amazing. She had a ton of confessionals in this episode. She was heavily featured when she was trying to get Nehemiah's attention to be his partner, and then he like side-eyed her and went with Ayanna. It was so funny. She was really funny in this episode, and she got second place in the daily challenge. First one up, and she gets second place, and it was only 1 second separating her team from the winning team. And before we go too far, I have to mention her partner, Steve. He's the other standout. I was worried about who Steve was, and will he be even big competition? I think seeing his cast photo, I was pretty impressed, because he is kind of like Jason Momoa. He's huge, he has the beard, he has the long hair, but I'm kind of like wondering, we haven't seen you since Gauntlet, and he was actually really funny. He was very charismatic with the camera. He is a hand model, and like I said with Tina, he came in second place. I mean, for being her backup plan and plan B, they did a fantastic job. Now, a competitor that I'm not surprised did very well in this daily challenge was Jody. She did fantastic. I think majority of the guys are going to want to be partnered up with her, whether it's a team challenge or a pair challenge, whatever. I think she's going to be one to reckon with, and just getting that first win is huge. And I think it's going to set the tone and show, I think, a lot of the women that she's going to be a threat. I think Tina already took notice that, hey, Derek and her worked really well with each other, and I'm sure it's going to put them on a lot of people's radars, especially because Tina is going to be talking to everybody about how they're big threats. It's just going to be who's going to take a shot at Jody and who's going to be the one to take her out in the elimination. Finally, I have to give props and excitement to a player that's coming back from All-Stars Season 1, and that is Tech. Tech is coming in dominating camera time, dominating the airtime. I thought he would, because he was commentary gold for his first 3 episodes on last season before he was eliminated by Nehemiah, and now he's coming in with alliances, and he is featured heavily in the What's to Come trailer that came at the end of this episode. I'm excited that Tech is back, but those are the early standouts that I saw in this episode 1. Who are some of the competitors that were early standouts to you in episode 1? Let me know that in the comment section below. All right, let's start off breaking down this trailer shot for shot, and we're gonna start off with how this trailer starts off, and it looks like everyone is donning their challenge gear to head to a daily challenge, and to me, this looks like Nehemiah right in front of Brad. So if this is episode 2's daily challenge, or a daily challenge that's happening in the near future, it looks like whatever happens in the elimination, Nehemiah is going to win. And so we can see who I believe to be Nehemiah up front. Then we have Brad right behind him. And then we can see Casey coming up behind Brad, Janelle coming up behind Casey, and I think that is John A. There's a man coming up behind John A, and I think that is MJ. We have everybody coming into another daily challenge, which looks to be in the jungle. I can see that Darrell is here, and then Jasmine is right behind him. MJ with the braids, and Casey and Kahutta is also back there as well. Steve has a helmet on, so I think he is going to be in the trivia challenge that is coming up. And then we have Nehemiah. This is going to happen in episode 2 when they're walking into the eliminations, the arena, as TJ called it in episode 1. And so we have Nehemiah walking in, Ayanna walking in. Then we have this daily challenge where we have players on a crane while being driven, and there's cars going all around them, and they are having to capture the flags that are on these cars, and I'm sure that each flag has a different like numerical value to it. I can't tell who this is, but on the crane it looks like this is going to be in pairs, where one player, the woman competitor, is going to be on the crane trying to grab the flags, while the man who they are paired up with is going to be trying to move the crane to help them grab the flag. This daily challenge with the 3 trucks, I think, is the big pinnacle. They spent most of their budget on this challenge right here. It reminds me of last season's truck challenge, where they had the pillars coming out of the trucks and they had to like go back and forth while the trucks were moving. But it looks like there are 2 puzzle pieces or stuff that's happening on the other trucks, and you're gonna start on the middle truck, have to get down and then back up, down and back up, and try to get as many things from one truck to another. We can see that Tech is going to be doing this daily challenge. Then we can see other players doing this challenge. There's like a rope ladder hanging off of this. These trucks have to be blistering hot in this sun. This is where everyone is divided into 2 teams, and they're trying to put this massive wall puzzle together. Here we have a different layout here. It looks like there are 2 different puzzles, where there is one where you have to figure out the first puzzle that is just a big old square, and then you have to put a smaller square up top, and then whoever gets their puzzle, you have to run all your players up the stairs and hit the podium first. But there are a lot of players here. This could be the next daily challenge that everybody's gonna have to do, because when I'm counting everyone, it looks like there's 11 players on the yellow team. So if that's the case, then it could be 11 going up against 11. So that's 22 players. There's a double elimination every single episode. So this could be the second daily mission. Everyone back at the house. Brad, we can see, is still here. And then somebody is walking up the stairs and is saying, "You should have saved him." To me, when watching this person walk up the stairs, I almost think it's Ayana, and maybe she's talking about Tech. Maybe Tech is in trouble and she is frustrated, because we did get that, like, I don't know, she had this like attraction to Tech, and so maybe they start like feeling those feelings for one another, and then as the season progresses, then Tech is going to be in trouble going into elimination, and then she is frustrated with whoever is in power or whatever, and she is just frustrated because she's like, "You should have saved him." Also earlier in, when they were walking into the elimination, Ayana was saying, "Sometimes in life you wish you got a do-over, and this feels like that." I thought we heard that quote in episode 1, and it's, to me, odd that they're reusing it. Tech, again, featured very heavily in this What's to Come this season trailer of the challenge. Then we have Melinda, who is crying. Maybe Jody picks her to go into the elimination. Or maybe this is going to happen later on and she's going to be put into elimination or nominated to possibly go into elimination, and she is freaking out. And then we have, who I believe is Derek C, saying, "If you did somebody dirty back in the day, it's going to come back to bite you in the ass." And then we have this very frustrated Darrell, maybe one of his numbers or an ally, maybe Janelle, is in trouble and possibly going into an elimination. And he is frustrated because they really like each other. They're working with each other, and he doesn't want to see anybody or friendships get thrown out. But also Darrell is saying 500 grand is on the line. F all the friendships. I'm trying to win. So maybe that's just thrown out the window. Maybe I talked too early. And Darrell is feeling like remorseful about putting a friend in jeopardy, but also he knows that there's so much money on the line and he wants to make it to the finals and win the finals and win that money. And then we have Jasmine doing a challenge, which we saw in the trailers, the super trailers, where there's like these stairs walking up on a boat, and then you have to jump and try to get this number block that's probably going to go into a puzzle, a team puzzle, and she's trying to jump, and it looks like she just barely misses this block and then just wipes out hard. Then we have somebody here, it looks to be possibly Melinda, who is having some struggles in a challenge. We also see Tyler, who is also all wet. So this could be a water daily challenge where he is just like, it's just too much. It's too much for him. And we even hear TJ say, "This might be the hardest thing you've ever done in your life." And he's getting IV. It's always important to stay hydrated. Laterian is getting taken off in an ambulance. So this is like no joke. And it looks exactly the same daily mission or the same day where Tyler is on the ground. Then we have everyone jumping off of a cliff. We got this in the super trailer where we kind of saw Ayana jumping through a waterfall into the water. And then there's this point where I don't know if it's the same daily challenge, but it could very well be where everyone is diving down to get this treasure chest. We can see MJ with giant puzzle pieces. We definitely could see him in the aerial view helping trying to put their puzzle pieces together, as you have to get all these puzzle pieces from inside this like oasis. And I believe that is Jody also working on the puzzle pieces together and grabbing them up as well. Jasmine is sad and she's getting consoled by Janae here. Everyone running in pairs down a trail. This is where everyone's running as a pair and a duo. They have like different colored armbands. We have Janelle here wearing red. I remember in the super trailer, her and Darrell are like paired up at this point. Maybe this is a mini final that they're going to have to be doing in the middle of the challenge season. We can see Jody. Look at those abs. Here is more of the teams and more of the players. As we can see, definitely MJ is going to be here. Brad is going to be here. Brad is paired up with Jody, I believe. There's Ayana. So it looks like Ayana and Nehemiah are definitely going to win the first elimination. So whoever's going up against them, you know that they're out. They're gone. So I believe there's Ayana, there's Nehemiah, there's also Tech in the background. As we move closer, we have Darrell here, Janelle. A lot of players are still in this game once this mini final happens. A lot of heavy hitters are here. Then we have Jasmine, where she's yelling, "I'm the wrong effing one," and Janae agrees that she is the wrong one, as Latarian is listening in. So somebody's gonna get on Jasmine's nerve. Jasmine is gonna go off. And you know what? This is why we love to see Jasmine on the challenge, because she is ready to rip somebody's head off. This is the Jasmine that I remember from Battle of the X's, Rivals. This is it. This is going to be so exciting. I love this. This is going to be awesome. Then we have Brad and Jody crying. I think maybe they lost this challenge, or they knew they had to win, or they were going to be possibly thrown into elimination. Then we have Tech here saying to someone, "Why would you upset someone who has the weight of your challenge in their hands?" Maybe this is Tech talking to Nehemiah, because Nehemiah has said that he plays with his emotions on his sleeve. So maybe he's the one that confronts Derek, and Derek's in power, and maybe Derek is like, you know what? Maybe I'll put somebody hard against you. Or maybe he's talking to Jasmine, who was just yelling to someone or about someone. And so maybe he's like trying to calm somebody down. Tina bashing pots and pans together, where we can see Jasmine is still here. Tech is still here. Then we have a shot of the arena where two people are wrestling. To me, I think that this is a pole wrestle. Then we're back to Tina, where she says, "Nice Tina is dead." As we can see that this looks to be a variant of pole wrestle. It looks like the pole is like angled a little bit on the edges, but it looks like a pole wrestle, and we can't really make out the names right here, but when we look at this shot, it looks like the names are Latarian is the player on top, and then it's Tyler. So it looks like it could be Tyler versus Latarian in a pole wrestle. And we can see on the sidelines that Jasmine is waiting for her turn to go into the elimination to do a pole wrestle. This challenge that looks like the home wrecker challenge, where you had to like break a whole bunch of stuff and then stuff it through a little hole. And this looks to be Brad because of the biggest beard in challenge history. We can move over here, and it looks like that's Jody, and maybe they're working together. Maybe this is the elimination after that final where we saw earlier, where we saw Jody and Brad like embracing and Jody was crying. Then we have Tech, who looks to be walking into the arena looking like he's going to be possibly going into elimination. That's why I think earlier on when we heard that player say, "Why couldn't you save him?" Possibly that was Ayana walking up the stairs frustrated because she doesn't want Tech in trouble. Then we have Sophia and Janae embracing, and Sophia is so frustrated, and she is saying, "I just wanted to prove myself in these challenges, make myself feel good." Maybe she gets put up as a possible nominee to go into an elimination, and she is frustrated because she is not performing as well as she thought she would. It's nice to see Janae is helping her out, consoling her. She was also consoling Jasmine. It looks like Janae could be the motherly figure in this challenge season, and that works well for a social game. When we have two players riding tandem on a bicycle, and this reminds me of the finals last season when everybody was like tied up with each other and then had to ride the bicycles. Could this be a spot in the finals? Or is it the mini finals where we can see Darrell and Janelle tied up with each other with a red rope and they're running together? Two players here. I think that is Melinda, and I want to say that is Nehemiah, and I want to say that because this man has tattoos all up and down his arms. I think he has a leg tattoo, and I know Nehemiah has some great tattoos on those giant biceps of his. So I think that this could be Melinda and Nehemiah working together on a daily challenge where paired up with each other and they're spelunking. This looks like it could be the finals where everybody is neck and neck having to do this puzzle and then move on to another checkpoint. There's only 8 players there, so that's why I think it could be close to the finals. Then we have Jasmine, who I think this is after she takes that giant spill of trying to grab that puzzle block, that number block, and she just has that hard spill. And I think she comes up and she is not feeling well whatsoever. Then we move directly into this scene of Jasmine, who is crying in her room saying, I can't do this anymore. It's not worth it. So will Jasmine pull herself from the game, or is this kind of like a red herring where she'll say this to John A. John A. will talk to her. She'll be able to calm herself down, and then is this her possibly going into elimination because the power couple is like, look, she said maybe she wants to leave. So if she wants to leave, we'll throw her into elimination. And that's when we see her in the elimination, possibly going into a pole wrestle against somebody. We get this shot of an airplane. And then we have everyone tied up on the side of a building on the trivia challenge. This trivia challenge looks amazing, and I think this is Ayana. Then it is Jody and Janelle. I think I see ELLE on the side of this woman's helmet on the far right side, and then Ayana gets pulled and gets dropped over this side of this building. And we can see on the other end of what she sees on her helmet. And I can't make out any of the guys over on the other side. And that is it for this What's to Come trailer. There's one thing that I did miss, and it was a voiceover track from Tyler saying this game is about to get very ugly. This game is gonna get exciting. What do you think about this? What's to come this season on the challenge trailer? And is there anything that I missed? Let me know down in the comments section below. Now it's time to read some comments from my Thursday's review and recap, and the first comment comes from OLC TV, who says Kingly Scepter and a whole bunch of laughing faces. I'm not gonna lie, that confessional took me a little bit by surprise, but I'm always here for some lovin', some challenge hookups. I'm here for it. The next comment comes from Diva, who says, this is what I'm looking for when watching the challenge. I honestly put a countdown timer waiting for this season. I love Tech and I want him to stay longer. He cracks me up. It gives you that vibe of old school challenge feel that I get when I watch older seasons of the challenge. I'm so happy that All Stars 2 has premiered, that it's here for a long while, like at least 2 months, and I'm so excited. And I agree that I am rooting for Tech this season, and I think he does stay longer. At least that's what I'm praying for. The next comment comes from Shakiria, who says, I think this episode was fantastic. I'm right there with you. Definitely agree that the only downside was that it wasn't longer, because it would have been nice to see them sitting and mingling more before the daily, plus seeing the elimination. One of my fave parts was Casey's highlights during her intro. Can I just say, it was really funny hearing Casey be like, some people would call me the worst challenger in challenge history. And then during the daily, she's like freaked out about jumping to get the skull, which is a very Casey move, I would say. And then Tech tries to help her, and she just like falls off this boat and the skull doesn't go in. I was like, yeah, that's what I expect from Casey. Also, am I the only one that felt so proud of Katie during the daily challenge? She went straight for it, and everyone clapping for her was so nice. I agree, Katie is coming in more focused, more determined. In this daily challenge, like you said, a little bit of heights over water, but she just went for it and she did a great job. And I loved how everybody was like rooting for one another on the sidelines, clapping when they actually made the baskets. Like when Jasmine made her basket and everybody was like, woo, like excited for her. I was like, I got excited too, because that was a great shot. Next comment comes from Yak Yak, who says, I love this cast. Great start to the season, the personalities, the energy, just everything. Thank goodness they started this season off easier than All-Star Season 1, but this is gonna be a great season. I will say that. I'm glad that it wasn't as hard as Episode 1. I think they were trying to get some wipeouts if players weren't doing the booty scoot all over the balance beam, but yeah, they definitely started with a little bit more of a softball. Next comment comes from Philip, who says, Tina stole the first episode, as she should. She was all over this first episode, and it was a blast. I loved every second Tina was on the screen. Next comment comes from Naturally Done, who says, TJ mocking Tina and then called her a loudmouth. I was a little sad that we didn't get an elimination and no after show, but I'm glad we've got All-Stars. I, for one, am very shocked about not having an after show. I went back to Paramount Plus the next day because I was like, Did I miss something? Did I miss a tab? Where is the after show? I'm a little disappointed not having an after show after the All-Star Season 2 episodes. The next comment comes from Christian, who says, move over, Beth. Tina has a new #1 rival in TJ. You know what? It was funny that TJ was calling everybody out. Then Tina called out TJ, being like, why don't you try it? What are you doing here? Like, who are you to mock us and everything? And then TJ just started like, meh. Like, I'm the host. I get paid to do this. It was really funny. But how TJ was acting in the first episode is directly related to this comment from Shannon, who says, TJ has a totally different personality on this season. It's the old TJ instead of his spy personality he has on the main show. Feels fresh. I completely agree 100%. This is a new TJ. This is the TJ from back in the day when he is like riding his bike during the Cutthroat finals and he is like talking to the teams as he's just riding along with them, or in Gauntlet 2 when Cyrus is like yelling at him and he is like coming back at Cyrus with some heat. Like, it's so different than how he acts on the main season. The next comment comes from Espe de Bell, who says, already better than the normal challenge. Some of the people I didn't remember right off the bat, but then when they put their flashbacks, I was like, oh, I can't wait to see the rest of it. I loved seeing the little flashbacks. They handled everybody's intros perfectly. It was perfect storytelling. It was perfect to get like a leeway in, especially if you didn't know everybody exactly right off the bat. At least you got to know who they are personally, to where even if you still didn't remember who they were, you can kind of get the idea of who everybody is and start rooting for them right off the bat and who they are today, even if you didn't know about them from back in the day. And the last comment comes from Where is Yoga, who says, I couldn't agree more. This episode needed to be 90 minutes. I love getting caught up with all the challengers, but it's always a bummer when an episode does not wrap up. I think Jody and Derek are going to make a big move right out of the gate. The All-Stars aren't afraid to make big moves. Yes, and yes. I definitely got that vibe that Derek is going to want to take a swing, especially with how his and Nehemiah's friendship is, and quote-unquote friendship, because it doesn't seem like they can trust each other. They didn't have each other's backs last season, and I think coming into this season, they have a little bit of baggage, and knowing that Nehemiah is definitely in the elimination, I think Derek is going to want to throw in some heavy hitters to kind of like try to take Nehemiah out. I think that could be very interesting. But that is it for this Tiny Table Talk. What did you think about this episode? Let me know that in the comment section below. Who are your early standouts on the season? Who are you rooting for? Who are you rooting against? Let me know that in the comment section below. What do you think Derek and Jody are going to do? Who do you think they are going to pick? Do you think they're going to make a big move? Or do you think they're going to try to want to just like have a little splash early on? They don't want to rock the boat too early. Let me know anything and everything you thought about this down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. While you're down there, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll be back really soon with more Challenge All-Star Season 2 content, more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.